In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the OHDOT Signs application. So in the top left, I have the OHDOT workflow selected, and the Apps tab in the Plan Preparation group will find the Signs application. So the file I have open is a sheet design file that I clipped with OpenRoads, and I am in the drawing model, and that's typically where you're going to want to place your signs, is in the drawing model, not on the sheet. When I open the application, it's looking for a group of cell libraries, and the location for those cells is defined by a configuration variable, OHDOT _signs. And if that variable is defined and it finds the signs, you'll see them show up in the dialog. So it's split into several categories, and when I choose a category, it's going to go out and find the particular cell library or libraries that contain the information for that particular category. So you can see I changed to the information cells, and all the signs are in one library in that case. But if I go back to the direction or directional cells, you can see over here on available signs, there's different ranges of signs. So each of these is a different cell library. And the library is listed here on the dialog. So if I pick a different range, it's going to switch to that cell library and show me the signs that are in that particular cell library. Now you can see some of these are listed as obsolete, and they're only able to be placed as an existing sign. So those are left in the library in case you need to place those. Within the sign itself, this one has two different fields available for text, and I can see those fields here. And you can enter the information for the sign. Now this one is available in variable sizes. So if I were to place this one, and I'll just put in some text here. And I'll place this in the file. And it did not prompt me to enter a size because I didn't place the sign code label. So if I place it again and turn that on, it's going to prompt me to enter the size for this sign. So I don't know what an appropriate size is. I'll just use 48 for my example. And this time it's going to actually place the label with that size as part of the label. Now the signs are placed as graphic groups, so I can delete that. And if my graphic group lock is turned on, down here I can see it's turned on, it's just going to come out as one group, including the text. So that's a variable sign, and the size is used in the name of the sign. If I pick a different size sign, or a different sign that has sizes here, it's available in two different sizes. So the sizes are listed in the name of the cell. Actually, that's the name, that's the description. So if I go ahead and place this one, and I'll use the same thing. I'll place the sign in the file. And this time you can see I get a list, so I can select either one of those two sizes. And again, that's because the place label was turned on. If that was turned off, it would not prompt me for that on this particular sign. So let's pick another sign. I'm going to go back up to the first directional library. Let's scroll down a bit and grab one of these signs. It's got a field, and it has an active point that's a location for a symbol of some sort. So I'm going to go ahead and place text in this one, so I'll use the same thing, and we'll place this one in the file, and it's asking me to enter a size since it's variable. I'll go ahead and place the sign in the file, and since this one includes a direction arrow, I get a dialog with the available arrows for this type of sign, and I'll just go ahead and pick one and place it in the file. Now, if I wanted to annotate the station for that, I could type in a station. Maybe this is at 396 plus 00. Let me close that. There we go. And I'll place the sign in the file. And this time, since I've entered some text for the station, I'm going to get the station annotated. So let's look at the remaining options. So there's existing, proposed, remove, and relocated. Now, there are not 4 versions of the sign in the cell library. There's only one version of the sign. And what the application does is changes the symbology based on which of these options you have selected. So if I go to proposed, and I'll place this in the file, and you'll notice with proposed, the place sign code label is checked on, but it's ghosted. So that's automatically going to be placed. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the file. And you'll see my proposed sign has a solid outline and the arrow is filled in instead of an open arrow. It's also using a different font for proposed versus existing. So let's look at the other two options I have removed. And I'll place that in the file. In this case, this is an existing sign to be removed. And I get a red X through the sign if it's being removed, and the last option is relocated. And with that option, I have the option to put in a station where it's being relocated to. And I'll place that in the file. Okay, the other two options on here are the angle and the scale. I'm going to delete these out, and again I have my graphic group lock on, so they're going to come out as a single group. And let's talk about the angle first. Maybe I want these signs to be placed facing the direction of traffic. So if I know an angle, I can type it in, or I can use the data point button here. And I'm going to snap to my stations just to define that angle. Happens to be a 90-degree angle. I'll go ahead and place this in the file. I'm just going to place this as the existing sign and give it a size. And you can see it's rotated to be facing in the direction of traffic. Oop, I probably picked the wrong arrow, but that's okay. The last thing here, let me put my angle back to 0, is the scale. So I'm going to change this to 10. It's going to make it half the size of the one that's in the file now. And this option is used if you needed to squeeze, if you had a tight plan with lots of signs, you needed to squeeze some more on the sheet. So you'll notice when I place it that the actual size of the sign and the arrow are scaled according to my scale, but the text is still controlled by my model's annotation scale. So that's just going to resize the sign for you. We put that back to 20. And I'm going to mention also that the signs are not placed based on the dimension you enter here on a variable, or even when it's got selected options. So if I type in 72 for this sign, hit OK, I'm back to 20 scale, but I'll put that in the file, and I'll place it again, and I'll use 96 and OK that. And you can see the signs are actually the same size. So all that's changing is the text that's placed for the sign label. It's not changing the size of the sign. So I think that pretty much covers everything for this application. If you have any questions or problems with the application, just contact the ODOT Office of CAD and Mapping Services.